Hello everyone, Caren Glasser here, and welcome to this episode of The Passion Point. This is the show where we follow passionistas from all around the world who are following their passion and making a living doing what they love. Wouldn't you like to be doing that too? Well, today our guest is Heather Elliott. And since 2005, she has been helping hundreds and hundreds of individuals make powerful, permanent shifts in their lives by changing conscious and unconscious beliefs that maintain their experience of the world. And one of the things that I like, Heather, now Heather, this is a repeat visit because I just love you and I love everything that you do. The reason why we have Heather on the show today is she's got a brand new book out. I'm going to let her talk about it, but I'm just going to give you a little teaser. It's called Same Shit, Different Day. I just like saying the title. So we're going to be talking about that today, but let's start the show like I normally do, and that is with a definition of passion. Now, Webster's dictionary says that passion is an intense driving or overmastering feeling or conviction. That's what Webster says. What do you say, Heather? What's passion to you?
Oh, I would agree. I mean, the mind for me has been my passion, Caren, since the 80s. I've been fascinated by it. I mean, I did an undergrad in psychology, but I've also studied the mind, and more intensively in the last 15 years, I've studied how it is that we're wired, meaning how did we learn to think? What is it that we're thinking consciously and subconsciously, and how the heck does that translate out into the world that we experience out there? So passion, absolutely. I do this. I live and breathe it. It's something that, you know, a passion for me is something you would do for paid or unpaid time. And there's a lot of unpaid time that goes into my hobby, if you will, because I love to read about it. I love to explore it. I love to talk about it. And it is very much a consuming part of my life. So there you have it.
And for our viewers who are listening, now you know why I love Heather so much. You are so articulate and you say exactly what I want to say. And your company is Mindful Change. And you do some amazing work with people that come and visit with you either virtually or in person or on the phone or however it is that you meet with people. You do some amazing things. But I did indicate that we're going to be talking about your new book, Same Shit, Different Day. First of all, I love the title. I just love the title, and I'm sure that we have, all of us have caught ourselves saying this very same phrase. It's just the same shit, different day. Tell us how you came upon the title, and I'm just curious, does anyone give you some same shit just because it's the shit word on the cover?
Oh, just on that note, yes. Because there are some people that would find it offensive, and I get it. And I knew that by choosing the title, I was going to remove certain people from my readers list, and that's okay. I'm good, because I pretty much say it the way it is. And if you don't care for my language on the front of the book, you probably won't care for my language in private settings either. So it's kind of one way of sorting my audience, and that's okay. Everybody gets a chance to be themselves and to choose what's right for them. But as far as
where did it come from? So where did the title come from?
It came because I say it, and I would catch myself saying it to my clients. I would be, I'd be reviewing their life story. I'd be going through how it is they formed their minds and the thoughts and beliefs that were limiting them. And we would get to the point where we would see that there was a loop repeating. Like in childhood, they learned this, and then you can see how it loops into teenagehood, and then it loops again into their 20s and their 30s. So the same patterns kept showing up repeatedly, and I heard myself saying to my clients, same shit, different day. And I thought, people need to know this, because there are repeat patterns that we're doing here, and we're just completely oblivious to the fact that we're doing them.
So you come up with this book. It's called Same Shit, Different Day. What is in this book? Why should I actually am about halfway through. It sits on my bedstand. This is actually my nighttime reading right now. What is in this book? Why do you think people are finding this so fascinating?
Well, it reveals what's happening in terms of your mind. I mean, so many of us look at our lives, at least this is what I remember it as when I was in my 20s and 30s. You look at your life and you really want to make it better, but you feel stuck somehow, and you're just not just sure why you're stuck. Most of us are unconscious to the fact that we have patterns that are looping in our life, and limiting patterns that keep us small, that keep us restricted, keep us afraid, etc. So I just wanted to educate the public, because again, this is my passion. So once I learn something, I love sharing it. And being a writer, I love sharing through the written word. So the book was a natural evolution of what I was learning by working with my clients.
So who would be a good fit for this book? If we're walking around the bookstore and we're looking, is this a personal development book?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, it's self-development or a self-help book. You're going to see it in that kind of department. In fact, we're working on getting it into chapters in Barnes & Noble. So hopefully someday it will be on the physical bookshelves, but for the moment it's available online. But the people that are going to be interested in this are likely ones that are on a journey. Okay, so they're already exploring the idea of their world. They're feeling limited in some way. They're wanting to become unlimited, or they're feeling unempowered in some way and they want to feel powerful. They want control over their life. They want to change things. So they're going the route of self-development. Then there's a ton of books out there. So they've likely been reading lots. There's lots available online. There's lots of online courses. There's lots of workshops you can go to live. There's lots of gurus out there that are talking about this kind of stuff. I mean, I have at least 10 different people that I follow, and they're saying similar things. My experience is slightly different than theirs. So anybody that is sort of following that track is going to find information in my book that's going to be useful.
Yeah, it's great. It's a great book. And so let's talk a little bit about the Same Shit, Different Day. I just love saying that. I'm sorry. Same Shit, Different Day merry-go-round. Let's talk a little bit about that and what it is.
Okay. So in the book, you'll discover that there's several themes that we talk about. One of them is victimization. That's one that starts in childhood where we feel like we're victimized. And it's interesting to watch that our reality will actually become a self-fulfilling prophecy. So those that were victimized in childhood often create patterns where they're re-victimized in teenagehood, re-victimized in their 20s, their 30s, and their 40s. And they have like a poor me running inside them and they don't know it. Like they just feel like they're kind of always put upon. And again, it's to raise awareness. Is that sometimes we're silently running this stuff when we're not even aware that we're doing it. It's people on the outside that can see it. So victimization is one of them. Lack and limitation is another one, that starts in childhood, the feeling that there isn't enough, there is no future, there's nothing I can do about it. And that's closely linked to the idea of powerlessness and helplessness, which can be another theme in people's lives. What people don't realize about their mind is it becomes almost like a prison that can hold them back from living the future that they desire to live. We're taught to work towards abundance, happiness, health, joy, all those kinds of things. And for many people, some aspect of that is eluding them, and they don't know why. And quite often it's conditioning. It's things that we've been taught in our childhood and in our adolescence and early adulthood that we believed, and we just keep creating the same shit, different day merry-go-round because we keep reliving the same themes. And everybody else around you is living those themes too. So it's like this, the validating mirror is that you live in a neighborhood where your neighbors are all limited in the same ways too. So you start to accept it and you get complacent and think this is just the way life is. And I know that we're starting to wake up to a different reality, but a lot of us are still living these limiting themes, and we don't realize that the only thing holding us there is our mind.
Well, it's interesting. You talk about abundance, and I like to say to people, would you rather be in the Red Sea of scarcity or the blue ocean of abundance? And I actually use that phrase quite often, and a lot of people don't even know what it feels like to be in that space of abundance because they have been operating in this sea of scarcity, especially entrepreneurs who it's like, why me? This is never going to work. I posted a picture the other day of the day in the life of an entrepreneur. You start out, oh, I'm awesome today. And then a couple of minutes later, oh, I suck. And then, oh, I can do this. No, I can't. And it is that it's constantly going on. Do you find that with your practice?
Yeah, it can. In the beginning, I think we tend to go there. Now, it depends on your background again. Like for some people, scarcity isn't an issue, but for some people, it's the idea of struggle in other ways and drama in other ways, and nobody's ever going to love me. So it just depends on the theme. But yes, there's an entrepreneurial theme for sure. And part of it, Caren, is this. is that, when you work for somebody else, that somebody else is responsible for feeling good enough, powerful enough, important enough to go out and get the clients that are paying your paycheck.
Right.
Okay, so the only thing you have to do is sell yourself once to get the job, and then maintain, whatever job it is that you're doing in a suitable enough fashion that they'll keep you on their payroll. So you're not going out there every day to fish. Entrepreneurs have a special problem, because what it is that they have to be the fishermen. They have to go out, and every day they have to believe in themselves, and they have to do the right things, and they got to figure out the right things to do. And their mind is either going to support them or work against them. And that roller coaster that you've defined is part of the reason that entrepreneurs find it so hard. Because there's actually internal guidance systems. Like, you can listen to your heart, and your heart will tell you what to do. But so many entrepreneurs get stuck in fear and scarcity, they're unable to listen to their heart, so they're not doing the right things.
Would you say then that some people are just not cut out to be entrepreneurs, or is this something that can be learned to kind of get rid of all those highs and lows, or at least balance it out a little bit?
I would say that there are things that they can do to learn. Yes, and it really is a choice. Like, being an entrepreneur is a stretch. Getting a job and being comfortable in a job is sort of one level of confidence, absolutely. But being an entrepreneur, it takes that, and it's going to force you to really step up on behalf of yourself, really step up. And that can be learned, but it takes time.
And that's where you come in. That's really where you come in. So how did you figure this all out? How did you figure out this whole concept of the same shit, different day, other than you found yourself saying that all the time to your client, which may be your answer, but how did you figure this out?
Well, I've been working in this industry since 2005 specifically, and working with clients to rewire their brains so that they think and therefore feel and therefore act differently. So, years of doing this, after a while you see the same themes, and you realize, oh my gosh, these are the themes, these are the beliefs that are holding certain systems in place. So I got to see, if you can think of the mind as the infrastructure behind your reality, I got to see what beliefs, what expectations, what attitudes lay at the base of the issues that people were coming in with. And it was kind of like a silent study. I'm a researcher by nature, and I want to know why. Right. So I always wanted to know why people experienced what they did. Well, my work taught me why people experienced what they did, and furthermore, it taught me how to change it. And what I noticed is, when you change this stuff, reality will shift automatically. Like, things just start happening. I was just working with somebody recently, and she's trying to become an entrepreneur, and she wanted to invest some money in something, and she was feeling stuck. She came and did some work with me, and all of a sudden the venture capital showed up out of nowhere, like two different sources of it. Like, it's kind of like when she got out of her own way, then all of a sudden life cooperated. And the truth that I've learned about this, which is it's actually mind-blowing, is that our natural state is abundance, and we are taught limitation. So that when you start moving all the pieces of our thinking out of the way that say that we're limited, helpless, vulnerable human beings, and you realize that no, actually our innate state is to be abundant, it changes the whole picture. Because the only thing creating limitation is us.
So it's all about the mindset. And we've talked about this before. It is all about the mindset. And I've had people say to me, like Napoleon Hill says, think and it will happen, think and grow rich. Mm-hmm. Well, it's not exactly what that's all about, but it is about the mindset. If you think about it and you plan for it and you can picture it and you can see it and you do the things that you need to do, mm-hmm. then and only then will you see the fruits of your labor. I'm sure you agree with that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And if it's not coming online, if struggle, lack, and everything else is coming online, then there's unconscious beliefs or subconscious beliefs that are holding you back. I mean, in other words, limitations from your past are creating your now from the limitation that you experienced back then. Your mind, I don't know whether we've talked about this before, but your mind is a memory as opposed to a current reality. Eckhart Tolle's Power of Now, and he talks about getting outside the mind, and that now it's not about psychological time. Well, there's a truth to that, is that we get stuck in our past that says, believes in lack and struggle, and we just keep recreating it wherever we go. And it really isn't a current thing. It's actually from our past.
Well, that's interesting, because I've also heard, though, that the mind acknowledges everything in the present as well. So when we do affirmations and when we do things like thinking about where we want to be mindset, we use the words I am, because that the mind recognized the present. So how does that overlay over what you just said in terms of the history and now?
Well, think about it as one step forward and two back in some cases. Is that the affirmations, the visualizations, the mind movies, etc., keep us moving forward as long as we can keep focused on those things and action oriented according to those things. But then what happens is we go unconscious and we start acting unconsciously from the programs of lack. Think of the number of times you may hear yourself say, oh, I can't afford that, or that's not possible for me, or that's for other people, or even the unconscious silent feelings we have towards rich people, like they're awful people, you can't trust them, etc. It's all of this stuff, like you're absolutely right. We're using our affirmations, visualizations, the I am statements, the mind movies, and yes, we move forward, and then we lapse into our unconscious state and we move ourselves backwards. And we're always fighting against the unconscious material that's in contradiction to what we say we want.
It's powerful stuff. The mind is a powerful, it is the most powerful part of our body, other than what keeps us alive, our heart, I suppose. But it is powerful, powerful thing. So how does your book benefit those who are going to read it? Are they going to read it cover to cover? Are they going to go grab a paragraph or a chapter? How is this going to benefit the reader?
Probably best taken in chapters, best taken like one bite at a time, because there are exercises at the end of every chapter to help make people more aware. So my recommendation is go chapter by chapter. And if something seems like, oh, I've already got this, then skip and go to the next one. But best read in bite-sized pieces.
And I know they can get it on Amazon, right?
Yes.
And for those of you who are just impatient and you want to go do it right now, just go ahead, click on the link down there and go and get the book. I have it. It's awesome. Now, I know that there's a freebie download, right?
Yes,
Tell me a little bit about that.
Okay, so Kindle offers freebie downloads to up-and-coming authors. And 2 days, May 21st and 22nd, are freebie download days for me. What it means, if you go on my website, mindfulchange.com/SSDD, it will take you to the page where you can buy the book. You can click on links to Amazon, or you can click on a link to ask me for a book. And the days when it's free will also be noted there, so that when you click on those links on the days May 21st or May 22nd, it will take you to Amazon and you can get a free download on those days.
That's awesome. So it's mindfulchange.com/SSDD.
Correct.
SSDD. That's great. Any final thoughts, Heather, that you'd like to share with our viewers about the book and or about what you do that is so powerful in the arena of change for individuals?
It's just, I would encourage people, don't ever stop looking for your answers, and expect that, you're going to read a book like mine, or you're going to work with someone like me, and I'm going to be a piece of your puzzle, but we're all putting puzzles together. And it's a matter of using your heart to determine what puzzle pieces come next and what feels right for you. But what I can tell you from my experiences is that things like overcoming scarcity consciousness, or overcoming fears, or victimization, like if you know that there's a theme running in your life, like it doesn't matter what way you turn, what affirmation you do, you've got fear or victimization or dramas, or if you're a pleaser and you don't want to be one, if you find that you're rescuing people all the time, if you find any kind of limiting theme out there, the book can help you. And beyond the book, there are services like mine that can help you permanently rewrite thought patterns that are limiting you.
Well, I want to thank you, Heather, for being on with us today. You are awesome, and the book is awesome. If you don't believe Heather, believe me. Both of us are telling you the same thing, but I actually have read it or almost all the way through. It really is a great book, and I know that you're going to learn a lot from that. So don't forget, if you want to go check out the freebie Kindle, which is on May 21st and 22nd, go to mindfulchange.com/SSDD. Or if you're ready just to purchase the book right now, which I hope you are, go ahead and click on the link and get Heather's book. Heather, I want to thank you for being on the show. I just adore you, and I want to thank our viewers. Our viewers, I know that you have a choice as to how to spend your time, and I want to thank you for spending time with us today. So go out and give someone an awesome day, and we'll see you next time on the next episode of The Passion Point. Goodbye, everyone.